Hello everybody and welcome back to Ears to the East, where I am here with, oh good, I'm glad you moved so we could see you actually have a face. And
I'm all kinds of faces today.
it's like, people really think about when they do YouTube and stuff about how they're going to set up so they can be seen. It's you just directly face the sun. It's just, it's just staring at the...
I need some sun today.
It's like the most punk thing I've ever seen. He just sits there with his glasses on, staring into the sun. I don't know if you're after some form of extreme tan or something. Well,
meditation.
Today is the return of our song digest. It's actually only the second time we've done this. We usually do this with Neon, but obviously Neon, unfortunately, he's away at the moment. He's been having a little bit of a health problem by the look of it, not feeling too good. You guys know it's been a very difficult year.
Best wishes.
So we're wishing him the best of luck to you, Neon. I'm sure he'll be better soon, but either way, even if he's not, we'll be here to make sure that he's got a lot of things to be angry about and to come back and tell us off for saying later. But because he's not here, usually we all recommend one song that we've heard in the last week where it's just something where we're like, okay, this is interesting. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this is the best song ever. It's just a song where it's like, I heard this, or I've been listening to this week, listening to this week, and I just want to talk about it. So because Neon's not here, we decided we'll do two songs each. If you don't mind, I just wanted to start with probably the one which I think is the most newsworthy one, which if I can jump in with Suspended Full for Sus4 by Silent Siren, which is their song that they kind of came back with. Like they've been away for several years now. Okay. Their drummer left, which was a big deal, and it was the reason why they broke up or went on hiatus. And genuinely, I didn't think they were going to come back from hiatus. I got the feeling that they were kind of saying, time to move on. They've really kind of done a U-turn on that, and they've come back really with a lot of intent, quite strong, quite a bit quicker than I expected. And this is their song sort of landing back. Now, I'm a big Silent Siren fan, but I've never really
do a music video for this one, right?
Well, it hasn't come out.
At least you didn't send me one.
Okay. I was checking when this premiered last night. I was checking to see if there was going to be a music video. I didn't see anything come out. And by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, they made a new YouTube channel, which seemingly they've got their own like record label. They've made an independent label and everything. So they are really sort of re-announcing themselves in a lot of ways. Now, obviously, anyone who knows me and the whole Back of Broadcast things knows that I'm already a big Silent Siren fan, but Benedict, you're quite new to Silent Siren, so this is going to be interesting seeing how this hits two different people. So what's your knowledge of Silent Siren thus far? Where do you stand on the sci-fi saga?
Not a lot. Just listen to, I think, 2 songs, something like that. So I'm not very familiar with this, and this is actually my 3rd song then. I've never really come across them before, even though I hear the name all the time, and apparently it's like a big group in Japan. But yeah, to me always was something, I don't know, too much in the pop realm, I guess, because I think I came across them pretty early, but kind of, probably listened to one song and said to myself, not really for me. But yeah, now I'm coming back to it. And I'm, a lot more used to pop music now, I would say. Because I would say this song, out of all the 4 songs we will talk about today, it is the most, should you say, poppy?
I think quite easily the most poppy. By quite a way. At least in my... I'd say it's the least heavy. It's the only one that doesn't have any heavy aspects in it at all. All the other songs have some aspects of heaviness in them somewhere. Whereas this has none. Yeah.
But I wouldn't call the other songs heavy necessarily as well.
Well, that's a different conversation.
This is kind of the softest song.
So this one intrigued me in a lot of ways, because you're not coming at this perhaps from the perspective... I think this song, in a lot of ways, I felt it was written for Silent Siren fans or people who were already familiar with them. And I think... to me, this was a very safe, poppy single just to sort of reassure everyone, okay, we're back. don't worry too much. Nothing's changed too much. We're still us, basically. Okay, here we are. I don't know if there'll be a music video, but I almost suspect there won't be a music video because I get the feeling that this song is not even like, this isn't like a confident lead single. This is more of just a, hey, we're here. If you know us, here we are. Next song that will come out, we'll do like a big single, then we'll do a music video, and but just for the fans, here we are. Just remember us, we're back. Like I say, the drummer left and the beat of this song.
That's kind of unusual. Usually you come back with a bang.
Well, I don't think that's always true, actually. It depends on the band, but I think bands who have like very loyal followings, they'll usually have a very quiet, sly first single that isn't. They don't even promote it. They just sort of go on social media. So hey fans, look, it's our first single. But really, all it is, it's just like it's just to get your core fan base back. It's like, oh, here, remember Happy Feelings, Member Berries. Here, remember us, remember our happy pop sound. It's like, come back, everything's okay, and then you drop the big single. And that's the one that you promote.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like to me.
It's probably true. Maybe I don't feel it that way because I'm not familiar with Siren 4. But I recently had that with the Hives, who came back after like 2 decades almost. And yeah, actually sounded exactly like the same, but it hit me a lot harder because I just knew that style and I loved that style. And yeah, so playing safe, it's probably not the worst idea.
Well, I guess that depends on whether your core sound is very commercial. I mean, like with the Hives, I mean, my knowledge is not super in detail with the Hives, but I remember the one thing that always came across to me about the Hives is that they just had that ability for like writing riffs and stuff that were immediately earwormy. They knew how to write songs that immediately caught on with you. That's not so much the Silent Siren thing. I mean, Silent Siren can do insanely catchy songs, but that doesn't seem to be ultimately. They're very much a melody band, and this just felt like a nice, comfortable melody. This is like a sort of song that you listen to and it feels comfortable. It's like an old pair of slippers, a nice, comfortable jacket that you haven't worn since last winter. It's that feeling of just slipping into something comfortable. It doesn't feel like an attempt to win over new fans or like blow down the charts so much as make people feel warm, fuzzy feelings. And as a Silent Siren fan, it certainly worked for me, but that's definitely what I felt was going on. I felt very much like it was them trying to
really agree with that.
Fans.
Yeah, that's also why I try to compare it with the other songs, because to me, I don't want to talk bad about this song because I think it's actually pretty good and I really enjoyed listening to it, but I don't think it's really like stands out in a particular way.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah, that's not really a critique.
I mean, just for anyone who's not listening,
I would say.
And obviously for yourself, they got their return mini album EP thing is coming out at the end of March, so basically in 2 months from now. And that's so this song came out like in the last 24 hours, but their EP's coming out in a couple of months, and I'm sincerely hoping that it's going to be maybe it's 6 songs, maybe 3 songs are going to be really comfortable and familiar, maybe 3 songs are going to be like ones where they take advantage of the fact that they are now a different band and they go in a different direction. I mean, as I say, the beat that was written for this song, it feels 100% like Hina, the old drummer, was still in there. It sounds like the exact sort of beat she would play. It was very safe choice, but I don't criticize that. Again, I think that was a strategic choice. They've probably recorded several songs and they picked this one as this is comfortable. I hope that's the way it's going, because if it is, that's a good strategy. But so yeah, I agree. It's not the most standout, like it's a single kind of song. But I mean, how did you feel about the song as a general? Because again, this is not the sort of song that I'm used to you listening to. So I'm really kind of intrigued at how you perhaps feel about this one, or if anything stood out to you.
Like I said, I enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed these. There are some parts in that, I'm not sure how to describe it, but that are more, I don't know, groovy, more in between, have a bit more interestingness to it. I'm not sure how to describe it. Those parts I really enjoyed, but the rest of it, I like it. I enjoy listening to it, but I wouldn't like see myself coming back to it purposefully.
I think that's it. Yeah. There was the bits with the layered vocals where it's very cool and answer. The lead singer.
Yeah, the vocals actually, that's kind of cool. And I want to ask, is that just, I don't know, layering, or are there that actual harmonies by all the members?
Usually when I answer a question like this, someone jumps out the woodwork to tell me I'm completely wrong, but I am 99.9% certain that was a mixture of the 3 members all singing. They do share out their vocals live, but it's a little bit like Scandal in that way, but not they don't have like a whole myriad of songs that are sung by, not the lead singer, like Scandal do. Most of their songs are sung by Sue, the lead singer, but they have a couple that are sung by other members, and they do heavily employ backing vocals from the other members. So
I really enjoyed all the harmonies, but it was kind of buried in the mix a lot. Not really. Yeah, I couldn't really hear it as much as I would have to. Yeah, would have liked to. That's how he said.
No, I see what you mean in a way, but I felt like maybe the bit which really sticks in my head is that call and answer bit where Sue sings and then the backing vocals sing back to her. And that, I felt that was quite high in the mix, which I actually liked. I thought that was good, but there were other parts of the song where it
not
was
really
lower.
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when there's the lead vocals and you have still harmonies going on in the back. And I felt that was, would have liked that a bit louder.
I'd have to go back and think about it from that angle. I mean, I wouldn't say it was something that hugely stood out to me, but now I'm running it through in my head. I guess there were backing vocals that could have perhaps given a little bit more identity to the song if they had been higher in the mix,
That's probably just my personal taste because I'm longing for some kind of, unique personality or identity, however you want to call it. And
those are unique qualities that make a song stand out. Yeah, sorry, I just missed a little bit of what you were saying, so I was just repeating it back. So just in case anyone else missed that as well, they understood what you were saying. But yeah, I'm inclined to agree. So I think we're on the same page with this one in that. So if I was to give it an overall comment, I'd say it was reassuringly nice for long-time Silent Siren fans. It was a comfortable song that's very hard for anyone to dislike, but it was notably unspectacular. It wasn't doing anything risky. It was very safe. It was just a nice little melody. And I guess how I feel about this will be somewhat expanded upon when I hear the rest of the mini album. I mean, if all the songs are very safe, I might have a slightly more lower opinion of this. But if they are, as I would expect from Silent Siren, quite an interesting eclectic mix of pop rock, then I will probably just feel very happy that this was a nice soft re-entry into the Silent Siren soundscape.
I would really agree with everything you just said. Exactly my thoughts.
Wow, this is what happens when Neon's ill. What's going on? Suddenly we were agreeing on stuff. I don't know how to feel about it.
Neon, where are you?
Oh, no.
Neon needs to pop in and disagree.
All right, so which song do you want to pick up on next? Because you came up with a couple of really interesting
ones.
That's
actually how I feel about pop music in general a lot of times. It's not bad and I can enjoy it, but there's just something missing for me to enjoy.
I will be interested to know what you say about the ones you've heard more. Maybe Silent Siren. I mean, I guess this is one we're going to expand on a little bit more when we talk about my next pick. I won't give away what it is quite yet, although probably it's written in the title somewhere. So, we might expand upon that a bit more there. But I think if someone was saying to me how I'd play something that really exemplifies what makes Japanese pop rock great, this is not a song I would put forward. This is a song that is not written for that effect. It's not a Fujiyama disco. It's much more of a like I said, a comfortable, safe pair of hands to put your ears in if you're already, you don't need wowing, you just need reassuring. I think that's what it is. So
not something I would skip, but also not something I would select.
I probably would be inclined to agree with that. I mean, obviously right now I'm listening to it a lot because it just came out, but give it a few weeks and this will just disappear into playlists. I don't think this is going to be one where I'm going to be like going, I've got to listen to that one again. It's going to sit in a playlist. I'm certain.
Probably. But also probably, like you said, will fit nicely in the context if they do it right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not lacking. It's not lacking in quality. It's just lacking in standout factors. Exactly. Yeah, it's unremarkable,
and
but
even
it's good.
That I'm not sure. Is it lacking? There are people who just exactly like that kind of music. So, yeah.
Well, I think
maybe lacking for my taste or our tastes, but yeah.
I guess so. I mean, I was about to rebut that, but then again, there are some people who I listen to the music they say they really like, and I think all of this sounds the same. So yeah, I guess there are some people who actually don't their ears don't crave variation; they crave like a certain degree of that comfort. So it could well be directed towards that.
Yeah.
I would say though that when you say about when we talk about lacking, we are talking only from the fact that what makes a good song and what makes a good single. There's a lot of things that are the same, but there's some things that are different. And with a good single, you're looking for a song that not only is good quality, but it has the quality of turning people's heads, getting noticed, which requires a certain degree of uniqueness, a certain standout value, and being catchy, a certain quality that stays with them. This song is safe enough sounding that it's not going to turn your head with like a whoa, what's that? And it's enough based in traditional melody that it's probably not going to be like something that's going to stay with you as a catchy song. It's just kind of a good song more than it is a single. It doesn't sound like a single; it just sounds like a nice melodic song. So it's in that sense, as I say, not lacking as a song, but maybe lacking as a single. Which is why, again, I don't expect it to get a music video. I'd be surprised if it gets a music video. I think they're going to save that bit of their new record company independent budget for whatever the #1 banger is on this mini album. We'll see. We'll see what they pick. Something earwormy, I'm sure, will suddenly jump up.
All right.
That's my prediction. We'll come back to this in a month when I'm totally wrong. 2 months. All right. Anyway, exactly. Yeah. Let's see what you got for me, mate. So you had a couple of really interesting songs. Which one do you want to start with?
Yeah. So which one? Yeah, which one do you want to go first?
Well,
I actually want to go with the Lilith song first.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. What was it called again?
What is it called? I'm not actually sure. I will have to look it up.
We got to remember to mention the names because otherwise I'll forget the time. Like with all of these guys, the links are below for all of the songs that we talk about. And they bloody well should be.
ThanatoPhobia.
Oh, was that what it was called? I thought it was called
ThanatoPhobia.
Oh, I think I was just looking at the album name on the. Okay, anyway, right? Because the
album name is Graffiti.
That's it. That's. I was looking at that in the thumbnail, but that was obviously just the album picture. Yeah. So okay, all right. So all right, lead us in on this one. This was an interesting pick.
So. Also Little is something I just recently discovered, but I really enjoyed this album. And this song I found pretty interesting. I actually wanted to let you talk first because there's, certain parts I really enjoy and some others, some aspects of the song that I think could be way better. So, yeah, go ahead.
By the way, is someone murdering a child in the background?
Yeah, no.
I don't know if that's audible. I'm picking it up, so I'm guessing as I'm recording this one on my computer, I'm guessing people at home are probably like,
that's here in my house.
All right, so apologies to people at home. There's going to be more of me talking for a few minutes here, but all right, my basic thoughts.
Apparently, more screaming by kids.
Well, I'll try and talk so much that no one knows. I would just assume that it's the hounds of hell outside the door. Okay, so Little Lilith. This is a band who, again, name had come up a lot. This is literally the first time I ever heard them. Now, they recently were one of the bands who were on the sequence of two-man shows that Trident did. So Trident did two-man shows for a series of groups, and one of them was Little Lilith. I think it was Eggman or something.
Oh.
And
that's interesting. That's very interesting. I didn't know that because I actually thought of Little Lilith like a bit of a metal Trident. Or more metal Trident.
Well, again, based on this one song, I don't know if I would. I mean, Trident are so diverse. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a song that sounded like this.
Yeah, but
it didn't automatically scream that to me. Go on.
No, but I'm thinking more about the Holy P. That song, if you just listen to this song, yeah, I get where you're coming from. Sorry, didn't want to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I mean, this is probably why it's good for me to give a bit of context first, because as mentioned, this is the first time I've actually sat down and heard one of those songs all the way through. I'm ashamed to say, because this is a group that's definitely been on my list for a while, and I certainly should have listened to them when they did their show with Trident. But Trident,
I think they have better songs actually.
Okay. I mean, Trident have done a lot of shows with bands who are a bit softer. Braimy seem to be friends with them. Folia are very good friends with them, much softer band. So for me, this was interesting because this felt like a band who are heavy and friends with Trident. So anyway, in regards to this particular song, The structure was it felt like it was somewhere between EDM and metal. Even the sort of metal riffs felt like they were structured like an EDM producer would structure metal riffs into an EDM song. It had that it felt like a remix. It felt like either a metal remix of a pop song or a pop remix of a metal song. When I say pop, I mean kind of EDM more than anything. But that kind of worked for me.
That you say that.
Okay, I mean, it worked for me because, I mean, the two aspects played to each other. The sort of slightly poppy EDM aspect gave you a little bit of more of a downtime and built up the tension. And then when the metal came in, it was very punchy. It was very sharp. You know, the guitar bits, they weren't all low and drudgy. They were very sort of loud, sort of gnarly. You know, it had that sort of scratchy, aggressive feel to it. Yeah, I liked the riffing. I just felt it was very energetic for something that was basically moving in a very very stable tempo. It felt like it had a lot of bite. And the play between the quiet and the loud bits, again, worked brilliantly for me. Sorry.
Yeah, to me, I think the song structure, it's kind of just repeating itself. Doesn't really have a lot of interesting structure in it, but I think actually that kind of makes it interesting because not a lot of songs do that. Even simpler structure where you basically just have the verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then that same thing repeated, and then that same thing, just half of it. And that's the end. That's kind of, the debatable part about the song. But, this chorus part, and at first I wasn't sure what it is that I love so much about it. But then I got it, and the verse parts, the calmer EDM parts, imagine it's sung by Sue Metal.
Oh, I was thinking Sue from Siren for a
absolutely
second.
Sounds like it. No, I'm actually talking about Suzuka Nakamoto. Sounds so much like a baby metal song to me, this one. Like, has parts of this wild riff in the chorus, like Believing, and this EDM beat of Light and Darkness. There's a lot of things, and I really can imagine Suzuka singing this song, and it would sound even better. I'm not saying this doesn't sound good, like the singer of Little Lilith is good, but yeah. To me, and I think, that kind of comes back to what you said, with that it sounds like a producer tried to combine like metal and pop in a way. So baby metal.
Well, I mean, although the baby metal reference probably wasn't the first one I was going for, the baby metal song which most to me fits the description that you just gave would be Awadama Fever, and Awadama Fever feels like someone took an EDM song and then threw a metal chorus into it. And I like that.
I see that.
I don't consider Awadama Fever to be one of those, write home about how interestingly written it is, but it's a song where it's simple and very effective. Like what they do, it's a good combination of sounds, and when it kicks in, and you know about it. And there's a lot to be said about simple being effective. Simple and lackluster is much more common. Simple and effective, it does happen, and when it happens, it's great. So, Awadama Fever, that kind of vibe. I can see, although the tone is very different, I can see this has a slightly Awadama Fever quality of like setting you up and then like delivering the punch. When the metal comes in, the metal is the punch and it delivers satisfyingly. So I'm on board with that. I can't really picture it with Sue Metal's vocals. I'm trying to imagine that. I guess there's people out there doing remixes now where they're using AI voices.
Listen to it again.
I go back and listen to it again. I certainly would say, as someone who, this is the first Little Lilith, again, apologies, it really shouldn't be, but this is the first Little Lilith song I've sat down and really paid attention to. It certainly has me interested to check out more. I mean, whether it's the same or different, I think that there's a lot to be said for the fact that this is an interesting intro. I feel a little bit like when I first heard Bish, and the first Bish song I heard, I wasn't like wild, it was Monsters, it was a live version, I wasn't wild about it, but I listened to it and I was like, this just sounds like a group where you're going to have some interesting stuff around the corner. There's this sort of feeling that it's like, you've got something else going on here.
And of the feeling I get after listening to this EP.
All right, I'm definitely going to have to check it out now, aren't I?
And I can really recommend another song of that EP to you, which is called Fuse.
Fuse, that's
Fuse.
It's one of those names
And
that's
yeah,
so
I
easy
think
that
you
I'm
will
going to
like
forget.
that one. I will post it.
Yeah, do you know what, I'm probably going to sit down and listen to the whole EP just because. But yeah, no, please do that.
Let me ask you, what did you think of the vocal production on it? Because it has a pretty strong like auto tune on it.
Well, this is where we get back into that territory, and this is why this is an interesting comparison to the to the Silent Siren song we just listened to. In that, I mean, not knowing 100% what your familiarity is with Little Lilith, I'm assuming you're not as much of a Little Lilith fan as I am a Silent Siren fan, but I mean, obviously you're more familiar with them. I feel like my comment on the production of this song vocally is dependent on a lot of assumptions about the band. Now, if I was to assume that they were a normal metal band, I would say this is very strange, but it's a brave choice that's in keeping with the song type. But not knowing it just, as the first time I've heard this band, this sounds like a band who are into experimenting with production, and therefore, yes, I mean, you do that. I must say the vocal production style, heavy-handed as it may be, certainly did fit the song. I mean, the song felt like something that was supposed to be produced for maximum impact, and with a slightly unnatural. It was a produced, occasionally computery feel. It was all about that punch, and so yeah, I was for that. I was for that. I didn't feel it detracted. To be honest, I wouldn't say I even really noticed it as a standout factor until you just mentioned it then. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, there was a lot of production on the vocals. It was just felt very natural.
Yeah. I agree. I also don't think it disturbs this song because it really fits the vibe and the atmosphere of it. But there are some other songs on the album where I would say wouldn't really have put that on there.
So you'd say that this wasn't something they dragged out especially for this song. It was something that they were using it a lot on this album, and this was just the time that it clicked. Is that the way you read it?
But in this song, it doesn't work. Yeah, exactly.
That is interesting. So are you telling me that after 2 songs we agree on both of them?
Kind of. I think, yeah.
I don't like where this is going.
Let's see.
This is dangerous. This is dangerous territory.
About the next one.
This might become one of those friendly channels where people smile in the thumbnails and stuff. All my bitterness is draining away. I'm starting to feel happy about stuff. All right. Let's jump into the next one. So the next one is from a band who I think people who follow my channel probably know. I'm kind of a big fan of these guys, and I've been just more and more into them like as time goes on, which is of course Yabai t-shirts Yasan. Like it's probably already posted up there. Now I'm gonna be honest, I don't know exactly what the title means, even though it's written in hiragana. Summer People is like the end of it, but
look it up.
It's Chira Bare. And I'm not really sure. I feel like it's a really simple phrasing, but I'm not sure what Chira Bare means. But yeah, Summer People is, and the song is very summery in its nature. If anyone doesn't know, it's the one where they do the music video is set basically out in a Hokkaido ice field, but they're doing summery things in the snow. It's the typical Yabai t-shirts Yasan fun, one of their many long single shot music videos.
That's a thing. Okay.
Oh yeah, they got some brilliant ones of those. So anyone doesn't know, check out their music videos because they do some great one-take music videos. I will just quickly say though that, as mentioned, this is not a new song. This is a song I've been listening to for quite a while. But obviously, my friend James was over here recently. I don't know when this goes out. I don't know whether I would have posted the videos we did with him yet, depending on what order they go up. But we did a couple of videos with James, so Benedict has spoken to him. And I was recommending some bands that James might like. And we sat down and we listened to a Yabai T-Shirts Yasan album, the last one. And I just remember listening through it and going, well, I know I like this band, but just listening to this album again, this album is just gorgeous. Every inch of it oozed like this feeling of creative perfection. But at
which
the same
one is
time,
the last one?
Madness. Okay, they all got Tank Top in the title song after. But just go on Spotify and find the last one. Tank Top something.
Yeah, there are two that are called Tank Top.
No, they're all called Tank Top. They got
Flower something, and one is called Friends something.
Tank Top for Friends, I think. This one, or is it? Yeah, something Tank Top for Friends. But they got like Tank Top, like Galaxy, and they got like loads of all of their albums are Tank Top something. And then they got like a best of, which is like best of Tank Top, and it's all Tank Top. But
What is it about this tank top?
Well, considering the name of the band is Yabai T-Shirts Yasan, who, for anyone who doesn't know, I believe that literally just translates as bad T-shirt shop, which is just, that's such a good name. But one of my Japanese friends asked me what bands you're into, and one of the bands I mentioned was Yabai T-Shirts Yasan, and she went, "Oh, the crazy band."
A crazy band.
It's like they're fairly well known in Japan, but their reputation. Oh, I actually just realised they're right behind me as well. I didn't even notice. Yabai T-Shirts Yasan's right behind me there in my new background. Yeah, look, I really love this band. This band is such a joy. But this song in particular wasn't one that grabbed me so much when I first heard it, but the more I listen to the album, this is one that every time it comes around, even though it's a single, I really get a good kick out of this one. So anyway, before I get into it too much, I want to know what you thought, because I don't know what your experience is with the band, if you've got any, and what you thought of this.
Yeah, this was my first song. My first song by them. I also just recently been recommended this group, and someone who follows my channel said this might be something I could like as well, and he's not wrong. I like this, I don't know, upbeat kind of bit of punkiness to it, and this has exactly all these things that I was kind of missing about the Silent Siren song. That edge to it, that kind of cheekiness. Just throw in stuff like her vocals and this. I'm not even sure if she's even doing it, or it's just
that's real. That's
snippet
real.
that they repeat.
It's terrifying, but
I was actually wondering about her vocals in general. Those are her real vocals.
She's really that high. Oh my god, she's really she's bothering the local dogs. I mean, that voice is like beyond human hearing.
That actually sounds like pitch shifted because it's so high, it's so squeaky. I mean, it's really on the border, I would say. Yeah, I actually enjoy it, but it's it's on the border, I would say.
I think the reason it
really
works,
extreme voice.
If it was just her singing, I think it would be too much. But her singing with the other guy, who's kind of got like a little bit of he's got like a punky, snarly growl, but it's not. It's very. He's got the punky quality of having quite a bouncy voice. Even when he's sounding a little bit gritty, he's kind of bouncing along. I think his voice beautifully balances with hers, and the way it's mixed, they just sort of sit alongside and just make this weird, unified sound when their two voices are together. I think it's a brilliant duet that they make.
Unfortunately, I have to agree again.
Oh wow!
But yeah. But actually, the song, at first it kind of feels like your typical three-piece, a bit underground garage punk group. But then if you listen to it more closely, it's actually nicely produced, and there's a lot of different layers and stuff going on. A lot of like brass instrument coming in at the end, which I really enjoyed. All the brass instruments. Nice.
I have a soft spot for brass music.
More to it than at first glance, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's almost would be like that could be the very description of Yabai T-Shirts Yasan. And I agree with you as well. One of the things that's so nice is that their recordings sound quite loose, quite garagey, but then they use that loose sound, that lack of compression and such, like, to fit lots of sounds in, because their sounds are a little bit more loose and a bit more sparse. There's more room for them to stick things in under the radar. So when you start listening to it, you start realizing there's a lot happening in the spaces. For a band that has such a garagey feel, the arrangements are very full, which makes you suddenly realize that their writing and their arrangements are superb. I will. This is the only song that comes to my head that has brass in it by them. But as I said, I've got a soft spot for brass bands, and that bit at the end where she's going, "Hey, hey," and then just a brass band comes in underneath. I love that. Every time that comes on, I want to stand up and like, yes. Yeah.
That's too bad. I thought they actually use brass as like standard instruments.
It does make you miss it. It does make you think there should be brass in more Yabai T-Shirts Yasan songs. But I will say that,
like, I'm assuming you can tell me about it, but I'm assuming they will fill that space or like these layers with different kinds of stuff, maybe synth stuff or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would say is that very rarely would you, if ever, hear a Yabai T-Shirts Yasan song and think it's lacking. I mean, the funny thing about the brass, the reason why the brass is so glorious in this song is because you can get this far through their career and never even realize how good they'd sound with brass until it comes in. Because their sound is so full that you never feel like, oh, there's room for something else. And then just brass comes in and you go, yeah, that's brilliant. Why I would never have thought of that. That's brilliant. It works so perfectly for them. But the funny thing is, I've started you off with the one song where they've got it, so you're probably going to notice it not in their other songs. But yeah, this is a band who
You ruined this band for me, Howard.
Job well done. For someone who loves Japanese music, I'm just here to ruin Japanese music for everyone else. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed this. I felt that you probably would enjoy this, but it just struck me, even for someone who loves this band, just coming back and listening to this album with James just reminded me of how much I love it. An interesting comparison. I think you've heard Necry Talkie, and I've often actually drawn a connection between Yabai T-shirts, Yasan, and Necry Talkie, and that I feel like Necry Talkie are the slightly more traditional songwriting. It's imagine the same thing, all the sort of crazy sounds, the high-pitched vocals, but slightly more traditional songwriting. They do crazy stuff, but it all fits into a slightly more normal structure. Whereas Yabai T-shirts, Yasan are the ones who would be more inclined to do bizarre changes suddenly in the time structure. You know, go double time, have like suddenly... There are a couple of songs on this album where the male singer goes into a full sort of metal growl. It does happen. Okay. And it happens at nice little moments where it works, because you're like, that suddenly caught me, and you feel it, because it's like, whoa, okay. Yeah, so again, they're not frightened of going a little bit heavy. So yeah, for me, they're like Necry Talkie, but just a little bit more crazy, if you can imagine such a thing.
I mean, compared to these squeaky vocals, everything kind of gives a good contrast.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we didn't mention them when we did our three-piece band video on this channel, but they're a 3-piece band, and they're another example of how to do a 3-piece band right. Because
I wasn't familiar.
Yeah, they know how to both be light and nimble in that 3-piece band way, where you know that they can be a little. They don't have to constantly have stuff all the time. But at the same time, they're willing to draw things in and fill out their sound with a few extra little things here and there, because 3-piece bands can get away with doing that, because they can go, hey, we're a 3-piece band. So, yeah, I think they play the game very well, and their song structures are absolutely a joy. Just superb. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to listening to this.
Well, talking of things we're looking forward to, I'm really looking forward to your second pick, because I have met your second pick. I have interviewed your second pick, and all things being well, around about the time this video comes out, either before or after, but not far removed, I should be posting my video and live session with this band. Would you like to introduce the song that you picked as your second pick?
Well, do you know the translation of the song?
Oh, bollocks. I really don't remember song names, so I've got to actually check the song name.
But the group is, of course, Tone Spoon.
Woo! Oh yeah, this one's all in color.
I'm sure Howard can tell you a lot more about them than me, because I just discovered them recently. Well, I listened to one song a while ago, but now I listen to one full EP, their Lifestyle Habit EP. Okay. And the song I picked is Gioho Sosa.
I'm going to do this the Google Translate way, because there's too much kanji in that title. There, no way I'm getting that.
It's the second song of the EP.
Yeah, that's right. I've already copied it. It says "Information Manipulation" is the name of the song. That's brilliant. Information Manipulation.
Okay,
I love it. There should be more in English. It rhymes in English. There should be English songs called that. Okay, so
I actually didn't pick this song because Howard knew about Howard's interview, but I actually really love this song, man. This song, I listened to it a lot, even in just a couple of days. Definitely my favorite of this EP, even though the whole EP is great and the whole style, I really enjoy it a lot. Kind of some people in the comments agreed with me when I said kind of sounds like Sokoninaru, but in a more accessible, a bit calmer style.
Oh my god, that was pretty
But
much
still
what my
has all
review was going to
the
be. Oh
finesse.
shit. Oh shit. No, no, don't go 4 for 4. We got to disagree
I
on this back
actually
and
titled
forth.
my video Sokoninaru plus Kirshuni, because I think there's some of that Kirshuni amazingness in there as well. Maybe not as crazy, but yeah. Fantastic group. I mean, tell us more, Howard.
Okay, I mean, from my perspective, I was lucky enough that after my interview, they gave me a copy of the CD, which I thought was absolutely lovely. And there was in my head, I thought, is this a test? Is this the bit where I'm supposed to go? No, don't worry, I already bought it. But yeah, it was really sweet, and they gave
You
me.
can always say that, but I know a friend who really would love this.
God, you are so good at lying. I should take you on. But, I
expose myself.
I would agree. This is probably one of my favorite. Whether it's my favorite is hard to say, but it's definitely one of my favorites. And I think the reason for it is that. So, for example, if you take something like Sokoninaru, which was the band that kept on coming to my mind when I was trying to think of a way of discussing this song. But the interesting thing with Sokoninaru is you notice that as beautifully dynamic as their songwriting is, they have this propensity for really heavy sonic changes, production, guitar pedals and such like that. And I'm all for that. I think it's wonderful the way they use it. But it very much is, it very much enhances and is very important to their songwriting style. Whereas this was interesting because there was very little going on in the way of effects, and this is not for a lack of guitar effects. They do have them, but they managed to deliver a song that sounded frantic, constantly changing. I mean, the bed on which it lies is so beautifully nimble and bouncing along, and yet very easy to follow. I mean, one of the things it reminded me of as well, a bit more obscure reference, but for anyone who's into their old school bands, a band called Cardiacs. Cardiacs, they had some crazy sounds in there, but as a general, their songs would be pretty straight on the delivery. But they could just do the most insane things. You'd go, how am I following this? It's not like one of those prog bands where you have to sit there swilling your wine and go, this is very clever change of time signature. It's just like crazy shit happens and your brain just takes it in. You're like, how are you delivering something this mad? And my brain's just accepting it. And you have to accept that's just because a band knows how to deal with like structuring rhythms. And that's what this song screams to me. It screams, we know how to do clever rhythmic stuff and make it work. But then they back up with great vocal performance. I agree with you. It's just very inviting. It doesn't do anything to shake the listener off or to try to over-impress you. It just is impressive. It just is a well-made song.
Yeah. And that's what I really like about that song, that it does impress that much, even though, some of my favorite parts in this are where the least is going on, where you have just the bass and this groovy bass line. Just this groove alone, so worth it. And then they, do all the crazy stuff you were talking about. And I think just the enjoyment factor compared to Sokoninaru, it can really feel overwhelming. You're just blasted with all this crazy stuff. And here it's more like you're infused with that stuff. But it's not like blowing you away. It's more like slowly coming.
I think that goes back to what you said about accessibility, and I agree. Like with Sokoninaru, as much as I love them, you have to be in the mood, and you have to go, I want to listen to some Sokoninaru now. It's not something where it just comes on.
Yeah, but Tone Spoon I could probably put on a lot more times.
Well, that song in particular, that song could just come on out of nowhere, and you just know you'd be listening, going, oh yeah, this is really good. You wouldn't be like, oh shit, I've got to get myself ready for this. It'd be like, whoa, it'd be a case of just like, this is pretty good. We need to loop this, or we need to find. This has been a good playlist. We need to find more cool songs to go after this one. This has elevated the quality of this playlist. It doesn't. Again, it just doesn't feel like a song that shakes you off. It manages to impress while being very just slides into your consciousness. They're And the funny thing is, they got a lot of songs that are much more chilled than this. So it's not like they're constantly trying to do these kind of impressive songs. They just know how to drop one when they got one. It's a great.
Yeah, but I think they always kind of play around with their time signature stuff, whatever they are doing.
Usually more subtly. I should point out one thing we did learn from the interview is the keyboard player actually pretty much writes most of this. He's pretty much so
called
central.
Mao by chance.
No. No, but he was a lovely fella. But apparently he the rest of the band kind of flesh it out. But it seems that he puts down the core of most of the songs. And I was really glad you picked this one because I think this was definitely one worth mentioning. But so 4 for 4, we've pretty much agreed on all of these songs.
So maybe we should talk about that one other thing I sent you. Have you listened to that? That K-pop goes metal thing?
Ah, no. Shit, I meant to listen to that. We'll do that one in a minute. I was looking at that earlier, like, I'm gonna listen to that later. I haven't listened to it. It was K-pop does Rammstein, I think. So I would check that out, and I'll probably bring that up. Maybe we'll bring that up in the next video. I don't know. Oh dear. Well, there you go.
Howard was busy. He was interviewing Caramel Candid, if you didn't know. So he was working.
Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful. Not only have we agreed in this video, but he's even helped me out with a little bit of promo. This is the worst episode of Ears to the East ever. I mean, all of this civility.
Yeah, next video is going to be quite different.
We're going to have a words about this. So Neon will not be impressed. Neon is going to be very unhappy when he sees this. He'll be lying in his bed going, "You fuckers." Can't do it in a Liverpudlian accent. You fuckers, not that. All right. So I guess we'll wrap this one up for now. As always, get in the comments, tell us what you think. We'll keep on doing these little digest videos every now and then. We didn't get a huge number of views the first time we did this, but I think it's a nice idea, and it's a thing that we've always got songs we want to talk about. So as always, get in the comments, tell if there's anything you might listen to this week, or maybe something you might want us to check out. But we'll just sort of do these every now and then because they're a good little chat. Hope you enjoy them. Hope you keep on enjoying them. Hope this little aspect of our channel grows. And, until we see you for the next one of these, remember to keep your ears to
the east. Woo! The sun has left me.